We are going to talk about a movie.
This is gonna be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater. What is going on, everybody? Taylor here.
And Jacob.
And we are about to talk about a movie that I was completely blindsided by.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a trailer for it.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was getting into. But we saw a very surprising to me, very delightful story that is, I would say, very accurately titled.
Yes, very accurately
I would go
titled.
with.
Yeah, the film is called Brittany Runs a Marathon, and in this film, a character named Brittany runs a marathon. Pretty basic.
I mean, it gets to the point. It lets you know what you're going to see.
Yeah, definitely.
And after you see the movie, it's actually it's an inspiring title.
Yes.
Looking back on it, which it's one of those things where you're like, yes, she runs that marathon. But Jillian Bell does a great job in this role, I think.
I thought Jillian Bell was absolutely terrific and wonderful in this film.
She goes through quite a journey in this film. When we start out with her, we start off seeing her as probably, I would say, a lot of people in their early to mid-20s where they're just kind of drifting, doing what their friends do, don't really know what their direction is, and just kind of want to latch on to people. And then even if those things are bad for them, they just...
Yeah.
That's just where they go. And that's kind of where we meet Brittany, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, you definitely get a sense that she's not happy with her predicament, but she has so much self-pity that she's never going to fix that.
Right. Not with where she is at the beginning of the movie. She's very much just in this place of, like, I like to call it, like, the perpetual, like, cycle of despair, where you're just like, this, and this will never get fixed because all of this.
Yeah.
Like, she's just in that point where she's clearly unhappy with her body. She feels like the person, in her group she sees all her friends moving on and building up to things in their lives, and, like, they have a direction, and she just feels completely left behind when we start out with her.
Yeah. And then she goes to see a doctor to try and get abuse of Adderall.
Very, very under the radar.
Yeah, definitely super subtle. Like, super subtle.
Yeah.
No doctor in the world could ever figure out that that's what she wanted to do.
No way.
And it's actually a very funny scene.
It is. It's great.
And he basically says...
The reason you're unfocused is not because you need Adderall.
Yeah, it's you need to work on your weight. You just need to get healthy. And so from there, she decides, I want to get healthy. I'm going to go for a run. Run to the end of the street.
That's her goal, is just to get to the end of the street. And it really, one of the most powerful scenes, I think, for me was her just trying to get outside.
Yeah.
Her getting herself to get dressed, walk to that door, and her opening that door even to just go outside is monumental.
I thought that was a thing that the film did very, very well, was the amount of just power in that first moment. And where you saw, like, you see other films where that moment is a 5-second shot.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it is about a 2-3 minute scene where it's of her walking when she leaving her apartment, getting to the bottom of their apartment, walking outside and instantly seeing a food truck.
Yeah.
And then starting to see all the other people running who are very fit, I really loved the way that they did that.
It was a great way to show where she was at mentally without using all this exposition.
Yes.
Like, it really showed you what she was feeling, how much it took for her just to take those first steps, pun not really intended, but...
Yeah. I think this film did a really great job of that, is actually using film to tell its story and not just using exposition. There is a lot of things where it tells you stuff subtly, and you've got to pick up on it. And I thought that was a really great job in this film. Look, this film is one of my favorites of the year.
I agree.
Absolutely
It's definitely up there. It's one of the films I think I've seen this year I can say I had the most fun with. It had me laughing.
Yes.
So hard. This movie is so funny, but it's not just funny. And it's not just funny to be funny. Yeah. It's comedic, but it's also... It deals with really serious material.
Yeah.
And it balances out really well. I don't want to get too far into what happens at the end of the movie, just because if you guys haven't seen it, which I'm assuming a lot of you probably haven't, I don't really want to spoil too much of it, just because it is like a really delightful, great story just to watch unfold. Yeah. But it really is a journey. Like, this movie definitely takes you on a full circle journey.
It's essentially, it's a character study about Brittany, and you go on this journey with Brittany, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought she was incredible in this film as Brittany. Gillian Bell, I hope this film does big up, because does well, because this is the type of role she really needed, where it could be a real breakout role.
I agree. I think that I think this movie does a really good job in terms of it is a movie about a girl who runs a marathon, but it's also a movie about a girl who goes on this sounds dumb, but a life marathon, essentially, where she really wants to get in there and change her life, but the way she wants it to happen, where she wants to be able to do it overnight, it's the same as running the actual marathon. It takes time, and it hurts, and you're stretching muscles that you didn't know you even had to use to change to the person you want to be on the inside at the same time, and to be that person who can deal with the insecurities and not just lock them away and decide, no, those are for me to deal with and no one else to ever see. And I think that's, to me, probably why I connected with this movie the most, is that it's just that movie where you look at it and you say, yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is to feel like you don't know where you're going in life, and you don't really want to ask anyone for help, and you don't really know how to do... You know what your end goal is, but you don't know how to get there. Yeah. And I think this movie does a really great job of exploring that from this particular perspective. And I think a lot of people are going to really be able to relate to it on a pretty emotional level. Yeah,
I look, as I said, this is one of my favorite films of the year. Yeah. I cannot imagine a world where this probably doesn't end up in my top 10. I think it probably will at the end of the year.
It could. It's definitely in contention, I think, at least at this point. I think it's really important that we stress that you guys all watch this movie.
Yes.
This movie deserves so much support.
Absolutely.
The cast is great. Not just Gillian Bell. The whole cast is
fantastic.
Great in this movie. It's so well made. The tone is great. It's one of the legitimately handful of movies this year that's made me laugh, genuinely, where it was just so funny. Yeah. Which I think has kind of been missing for me a lot this year, outside of those handful of couple of films. Yeah. So it's one that really stands out. In a year of movies to me where it's either I've kind of felt let down by the ones that I've really anticipated, or the ones I've anticipated have just been like 2 or 3 movies, and then everything else just kind of has been lost in the noise. This one really stands out for me, and I really, really think you guys should check it out. I've had a couple people message me since we've seen it, like wanting to know what I thought, because no one's really been talking about it, so I'm really hoping that people start talking about it.
So it opens on Thursday in Australia, so make sure you guys check it out this Thursday in cinemas, and then it is on Amazon Prime from, I believe, the 14th.
I think it is.
Yeah, either the 14th or the 15th.
But go check it out. Take a look at Amazon Prime. See if it's playing in a theater near you. We got to see it in a theater, which was really great. It was so much fun seeing it with a group of people who had those
all
reactions.
In that same experience.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So anyway, if you guys have seen it, please let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd really love to spread the love for this movie as much as possible. If you haven't seen us, if you haven't seen it, leave those comments down there as well, because we want to know if you're going to go see it, where you are in the world if you're going to go see it. Just let's start a conversation. Let's do it. What else do we have to tell the people about?
You guys can follow us all on our social media links right down in the description. On our we got our letterbox reviews, our Patreon. Make sure you please go have a look at that. If you are willing and able, please donate. We could really use it. And our Instagram, where you're going to start seeing a lot more of our screenings.
Yes.
We recently moved to Brisbane, so we can go to more screenings.
I know, it's so great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for all of your support and all of your patience, as our lives have been very chaotic. Yes. And we've been trying to find the time to record and do all the things we want to do. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you all next time.